Okay. Now I check on my phone to see if it's working. Come on. Not yet. Okay. So it's like a whatever. Slight. It's like a 7-second delay. That's fine. That's what these things always have. I don't know if anyone's going to show up to this. Not that I ever knew if anyone was ever going to show up, but oh, hi Willow. Doing this on a Tuesday afternoon. I don't have work today for reasons that don't matter. I've been thinking a lot about what to do, and I mean that in a lot of different ways. Like what should I do on YouTube, I guess. You know, I've had this script that I've been working on for, at this point, 2 years. And I think I need to redo it again because the world has changed in an important way. And I don't think the frame that I've been using works anymore, which is very frustrating because I've already rewritten it 3 times. I actually think I'll be able to reuse a lot of it, but I need to change the shape a little bit. And so that's annoying. But I've also been wondering, and I brought this up in the Discord, you know, when I decided to stop the Week I Review, when I decided to create a second channel, I'd be like, oh, this is where we're going. I had a reason for that. Like, I thought that mattered, but I don't feel that way anymore. Like, I was being a little too precious about what the Week I Review was, could have been, should have been. Like, there's no reason, really, to drop, right? To make Alec KM work. It's not like Alec KM is a better channel name. I could still rename this one. And it wouldn't matter. I'm going to read the section of the script that I deleted long time ago. Maybe I'll still use it. I don't know. But not. It was never going to be in this version. I was thinking of doing a tease where I did like an earlier version of the intro. And so I'm just gonna, let's read that. The Week I Review is over, and this isn't a return. It almost was, but during the glut of YouTuber retirements at the start of last year, noted brother of the guy whose book I flew to London to review for even more time than this, Hank Green, said he believes that work on this platform should be measured not in videos, but entire channels. The Week I Review then was my first LP, my debut season of television. From reviewing the idea of starting a YouTube channel to imagining the paths I didn't take in the years that followed while discussing everything everywhere all at once, I created a mostly consistent, mostly good, and even occasionally great body of work that deserved an ending, and I'm happy with the one it got. I will miss having 16,000 subscribers and monetization, but maybe they'll join me on the new channel. maybe you will. If not, fair enough. I'm not really sure what will come from it anyway. Honestly, I don't really have any desire to build up another channel from nothing. But I felt like this project was at least worth seeing through. Thank you one last time for your support on this channel. So that, that was meant to go at the end of this teaser thing that would point to the new one. And there's again, there's a reason I did it, right? There's a reason that I ended it. There's a reason that I thought about starting something new. But I mean, and there's also like so many people when they leave a channel and then come back to that same channel, they never get their viewership back, right? Like people who had 30,000 subscribers go away for a while, they come back and they're getting a couple hundred views a video. I've backed people on Patreon for whom that exact scenario played out. And so the idea that I should keep this channel going just because, or return to this channel as opposed to making a new one just because it has a built-in audience is not actually true, per se. Like it has a little bit of a leg, but it doesn't have, that only gets you so far, right? And so that fact, what did factor into the idea is like, fuck it, I should just start from scratch. But on the other hand, what is anyone's role right now? Someone in the Discord showed up recently. It's always weird when new people come in after, it's like, well, I haven't done anything in a long time. What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. And I said, I've been disillusioned with content creators, and specifically as it relates to the genocide in Palestine, and how few people are willing to sort of stake a claim, make a statement, whatever, right? And I'm no Noah Samson, right? Like let's be clear about what I'm not. But it was important to me that I say something then. And if I'm trying to say something that I believe is important, like this thing that I've been working on, for fucking years at this point. Hi, Julia. This thing that I've been working on for years. I think it matters. I wouldn't have put so much fucking effort into this goddamn script if I didn't think it was important, right? Like, I've hit at least 100,000 words at this point that I've just cut 85% of. And I should give that the best chance of being seen. And I don't think a brand new channel is actually that. putting it on an existing channel gives it a better chance of being seen as small as that is, as small as this channel ever was. Yeah, it is weird how difficult it is for people to call it genocide. And like, whatever, I'm in the first couple months following October 7th, there were plenty of people who said we should be careful about using that word, and fair. But, you know, it became pretty apparent a long time ago, right? It has been a very long time since anyone could reasonably claim this was not a genocide. And, you know, I feel like that stopped in like January of last year. Like there was a couple months, sure. And then there wasn't anymore. But yeah, it feels important to use what little platform I have. Something I never really contended with. I never really tried. Never meaningfully questioned is like, how much am I being the introduction of any given idea to a person, right? Like I very rarely gave like real background to the things that I was talking about. I think I've been rewatching some of my older videos recently, and I think that that's true, that, you know, what I did was just give another perspective to people I assumed were already in my perspective, right? Like people who are at least left leaning, right? Like I have been more radicalized, I think, by the last 5 months. Like I would consider my politics significantly more left-wing now than they were in January. Or not even my politics, my philosophy. Like I don't think of things the way I can't, like, you can't look at what's happened and feel the same way you felt 6 months ago. Like, you just can't. Like, if you have eyes, right? You know, I've always argued, and I still sort of believe this, right? That, like, I think if I had to choose an economic system, I prefer capitalism conceptually to, say, in terms of pure whatever, communism conceptually. I think markets are good. I think markets need to be so heavily regulated, right? And I've always believed that. I've never, to be clear, you know, been a libertarian. But the way I think about that has changed. The way I think about what democracy is and should be has changed. Like, America is a failed state. Like, the experiment failed. I didn't say I like the markets. I said I like markets as an idea, right? Like, I think competition is a good thing. And I'm not going to apologize for that, for sure. You know, I think competition is a good thing, but I think, you know, example that I've been using for a very long time is like my perspective on healthcare is that we should have market-based healthcare funded entirely by the government, or at least like 95%, right? The government determines what people need. You know, I have less needs than someone who has cancer, than someone who has whatever, right? And a price is put on that. And then people can choose to either, whatever, have a base plan, or they can pay more for their own thing. I'm pretty sure this is kind of like, there are versions of this around the world. It does and it doesn't. Like, it does until it doesn't, I think is actually the right way to say that. Like, eventually that is absolutely true. In the immediate term, it is not. You know, it leads to innovation until it leads to monopoly, right? Like, Google was innovative until they didn't have to be anymore. And that's true for all of the companies. But regardless, my point is that the where the money comes from is the important part, right? Because if it comes from the government, I mean, it's the whole thing about single payer. It's like you can bargain if you're bargaining on behalf of everybody, you have a lot more power than any given person could have. I think it's a good system. I think that letting people sort of choose in a market that is government funded could be very effective. It could also totally fail. It would certainly be better than what we have. You know, like, I think like it would push people to create, you know, whatever tests that bring costs down and like both on the supply and demand side, right? Like, there would be an incentive for people to make money, but it wouldn't come at the expense of humans. Hello. Regardless, the point is, right, but I mean, my ideal is a regulated market more than it is anarchy, right? Like, I know you're an anarchist and I respect the hell out of that. And that's just like, I don't have enough faith in people. Like, I have no faith in people. The current state, more than anything, makes it very clear to me that we should not leave things up to the people. You know, what I want is, I don't have faith in community either, because so many communities are awful. I think there are communities that are great. And I think it's fair to have faith in community. Like, I'm not judging you for that. But like, I think people are fundamentally selfish. Like, like, that's what I mean. And that's what I think more than anything. That I've been arguing with my sister in particular about, like, are all people who voted for Trump bigots? And I say yes, and she says that's not helpful, and she's right. But like, it doesn't matter, because the effect of their vote is bigotry. The impact of what they have done is just like flatly evil. And so it doesn't matter why, right? Like, they made a choice. They might have done it because they wanted eggs to be cheaper, and they wrongly believed that eggs would get cheaper. But also, like, people fucking voted for Hitler because bread was too expensive, right? Like, it doesn't matter. You know, it's like the reason doesn't matter. And obviously the Democrats are like so fucking useless, right? Like, they could have tried even a little bit to counteract the obviously false arguments, but in reality, the Democrats in the US are ultimately a right-wing party, right? And that's really where I've become much more clearly, like, the way I look at the US political party has changed pretty dramatically. That is totally fair. That is totally fair. You know, as you say, as my sister says, like, my version of nihilism is not helpful. It's not good for building coalitions. It's not good for convincing anyone of anything. But to get to something I was talking about, I don't know, 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, I don't think I was ever really trying to convince people of anything. Yeah, fair. Yeah, no, that's totally fair. And I think if I had been trying to convince people of my ideas as opposed to just explaining them, I think I would have gone about a lot of the stuff I did very differently. And I don't know that it would have been better. I'm not sure what, you know, I don't think it would have been worse. I think it would have just been different. But this project I've been working on for 2 years is trying to convince people of something, right? It's not purely a matter of explaining my perspective. I am making an argument in the way I very rarely have. I guess every once in a while I did. My thing about separating art from artists was an argument, I guess, in that way. But like, I wasn't arguing that, you know, the Everything Ever All at Once is the best movie, right? Like, that's not what that video was. That's not what I was trying to do there. And so too with the vast majority of my things, you know. 30 was not an argument about being 30. It was just a statement from someone who had made it that long, as most people do. For now. I've been playing Clair Obscur, and the idea that when people turn 33 they die, as a 33-year-old, feels weird. Feels weird. It's a good game though. It's a good game. But yeah, I'm trying to, right? Yep, that's me. Jesus. But I'm trying to think about where, like, so let's say I decide I should come back to YouTube as like a semi-regular thing. I can say with absolute confidence that I will never try to do weekly videos again. I'll never even necessarily try to do monthly videos again. Like, that's over. But if I want to come back in any form, why? And does there need to be a why? Could I do it just because why not? Right? Like, could I just do it to do it? Or do I need a purpose? Does everything need a purpose? And if so, what's mine? Like, where do I fit in all of this? Something I've started going to a sensory deprivation tank. I've now gone 4 times, I think. 3 times in the last month. In the last time I was in it, I had an idea. It'd be 7 days of sensory deprivation. Whatever. Like, what did I learn spending an hour in absolute black silence every day for a week? I think that could be interesting to know what that feels like, to come out the other side of that and be like, oh, do I feel different, better, whatever? Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. But anyway, I was in it, and I was thinking about, as I often do, what project do I wish I was working on? If I wasn't working on this fucking script that I've been doing for 2 fucking years now, that in the end 200 people will watch. Like, I will get less than 1 viewer for every 3 fucking days that I spent working on this fucking video. But like, what do I wish I was working on instead? And I was thinking about music. And, I was surprised to learn that there are no songs called Fear of Retribution. Because that feels like the moment that we're in. Right? Like so many people are so afraid. I'm afraid, to be clear. Like there's so many. I have a lot to lose. And there's a lot, that I don't have to lose. And I mean, there's some amount of it that it doesn't matter what I have to lose, because there is a point where I'm just like, I just can't shut the fuck up. Like, even if I wanted to, I'm just going to keep talking. I just don't need to do it so publicly. But if we're just if we get to a point where people are fucking snitching on their neighbors, I'm fucked for what I say in the elevator, regardless, right? Fuck. How did I get? Honestly, I'm pretty proud of myself that it took me almost 30 minutes to lose my train of thought. I do not remember how I got here. I think that was well timed with several people leaving the chat. That I just does anyone remember what I was talking about? Something about what I'm here for. Oh, right. Fear of retribution. Right. And I was like, I should make a song called that. Right. because it is weird that no one has. In the vein of my song "Fuck Your Normal." Obviously, I would not use generative AI. So here's a thing that I'm also really surprised doesn't exist. I've been thinking about this for like a year and a half, and I haven't done it. But it's so genuinely weird to me that no one else has either. So Grimes has like an AI version of her voice, right? Like you can use Grimes to like do your hook, like use her voice to do your hook. And I've heard a few songs that use it, and whatever. Grimes has a good voice. Like it's an interesting idea. And it baffles me that as far as I can tell, no one has ever used it to write a song about what a fucking loser Elon Musk is. Like, you could just have like a hook that's just Grimes's voice talking about what a fucking loser Elon Musk is. That's so funny. It's such a good idea. I don't understand why no one's done it. Right? Like that was my first thought. Like as soon as I heard that was a thing. And like, I mean, to be clear, I haven't listened to every single song that Grimes AI is on. It is possible that someone has, but I haven't heard it, and I feel like I would have. Like that seems like the kind of thing that would have made it my way if it had been done. So I don't know. Now that I've put it out there, someone's gonna do it before I do, but yeah, I've been thinking about this for so long because it's just such an obviously, it's just obviously good and funny, right? Like it's hilarious. But yeah, so I've just been trying to think about what do I wish I was doing instead of the thing that I've been doing, which feels like nothing, even if it is something. I did think that, so here's the other part of it. I watched some of those Google VO3 clips, which is Google's new generative video and audio model. And in a very real sense, like it feels like the death of something. I don't know what. It's not creativity, but it's something, right? Like there's like a certain type of content that can now be mass produced in a very different way, and it's horrifying. Like I think the ad industry, like the people who make advertisements are fucked. I saw like a thing that was like a fake pharmaceutical ad for like dogs. And it was like, yep, this looks like a pharmaceutical ad. Like there's nothing original about it because there's nothing original about fucking pharmacy ads. Like they're just all exactly the same, right? And it's like you can just fake that now. And so that's just going to die. Like I would be shocked if Pfizer doesn't use it for the next it's a good take. And like the most interesting one of those videos that I saw was just like a bunch of just a series of clips of people in different positions, like in different scenarios and whatever, talking about how irritated they are that that specific prompt put them in that position, right? Like there was an older black man who's like pulls down his fucking oxygen mask and is like, seriously, you prompted me having fucking cancer? And then there's like a woman who's like in a dingy thing. It's like, this is what you wanted to see. This is what you wanted from your fucking creation, you freak. And like, photorealistic, right? Like, you know, if I saw that, like, it was like a little odd maybe, but like if I just scrolled by it, I wouldn't think about it, I don't think. And that's kind of a funny idea, right? Like that, like it is an interesting thing to do with that. But also, as like impressive as it all was, it wasn't like, I didn't feel compelled. Like I didn't see any of those clips and think, man, I wish I could see more of this. Right? Like I didn't think, oh, I want to watch this woman get out of this room. I didn't think, oh, I want to hear this dying man's life story. Like there was nothing there. It was just, impressive. You know, and that's that's what Willow's saying is, right, there's no soul in it. I know at least one of my scripts was used for one of the models. I don't remember which one. There was like a thing a while back where you could search to see if any of your scripts had been used, or any of your videos had been used in training. And my Solo video, not my best, not my worst, but like in the bottom half for sure, was in that list. And then there were a lot of people who are much better than me. ContraPoint, Stage Bomber, whatever, like all the people you assume. And so it's funny that I was in the same thing as them. And I have I have complicated feelings about all that because I'm kind of a copyright minimalist, right? Like I always put my videos out under the Creative Commons. Like I don't really believe in copyright to some degree. Like I think that there is, people should be paid for their work and whatever. I think, if we have copyright exist for 20 years so someone can write a book and then make money for 20 years, like great. That seems fair to me. But like to the life, no. Life plus 75, fuck off. Like I just don't believe in any of that. And I can't reconcile my general belief that copyright is not good with the arguments that like we should kill OpenAI because they're stealing copyrighted material. That's just not, that argument does not work on me because I like nothing that OpenAI outputs is copyrightable, right? Like all of that stuff. And I mean, why would anyone reuse it? It sucks. But I think a system that generates stuff that has no copyright is like, I think that's good. I don't think the way it does it is good. I think I have a lot of problems with generative AI systems. But copyright's not one of them. And so And so I just feel conflicted at like every point. I was talking to someone recently and they said, you know, ChatGPT is already more accurate than any human. And I was just like, that is like, what a wildly incorrect thing to say. And this person said it the day after Grok decided to make every single fucking thing about white genocide, which is just like that scares me so much more than like everything else that's happening. And this was actually the angle that I realized is the one I need to hit on this video. Because the video is called Algorithms Called Me Autistic, They Were Wrong. And I spent the whole time focusing on the autism part and not enough time reckoning with the algorithms. And I mean, there's only so much that I have to say about that subject, right? There's only so much that I know, only so much that I like, but like that is the thing that matters, right? The fact that I ended up in the place that I did because TikTok's algorithm calculated that I would be more likely to watch this thing that was like this other thing, and this other thing was someone talking about autism with the broadest fucking possible brush. Like all of those, like how all of this came together, right? How like my fucking Google results clearly affected every single other thing. Like I stopped using Google, like wholeheartedly. I do not use Google for search. I no longer use Gmail. I don't use Chrome. Like obviously I have an Android phone. There's like certain things that I like, you just can't fully carve out, but like I'm on YouTube, like whatever, but it's like I am so much less in that ecosystem than I was 2 years ago because of this, because I hated how much of myself was being thrown at me in every fucking place and how me doing something somewhere showed up in so many other ways. I watched something with ads the other day for the first time in a while, and they showed me Wegovy for her, and then like a car ad. And I was like, oh, great. This fucking ad algorithm knows nothing about me, right? And that was nice. Like I felt great about that. That I had disconnected enough pieces that this thing was no longer able to show me something that I'm actually interested in. That was the thing that came out of this experience, right? Like that's what I got on the other side of this is I do not like, I don't want that version of myself so easily accessible by algorithms, by whatever. And so that's what I need to focus on, because that's what matters right now and is going to matter so much more. Because what's scary about what Grok did was not that every single fucking thing was like, speaking of white genocide, like that's funny. Like it's funny how incompetent Elon Musk is, right? But the thing that Anthropic did, right, where they tweaked the settings so that every single output would get to the Golden Gate Bridge, but like in a subtler, cuter way, that is much scarier, because what's going to happen, obviously, the thing that has to happen is that advertisements are going to get put into the results. And what is it going to look like when a chatbot advertises to you? Because I don't believe that it's going to say, this response brought to you by Coca-Cola, right? Like, maybe it'll do that at first. Just like at some point in the past, Google's fucking ads were very visibly ads. And every fucking year since, they've become less and less visibly advertisements, to the point where now it is so easy to not notice that they are. Again, don't use Google anymore. It's all part of the same thing. And so that's the same trajectory we're going to fucking follow. It's going to be the kind of thing where instead of saying, this response brought to you by ads, it's going to be like, it's going to be like you're talking to your fucking chatbot best friend and you're like, hey, bot, what you doing? And the bot will be like, oh, I'm just cracking a cold Heineken, putting my feet up. Hello. And like that is like, it's going to happen, right? The fucking bots are going to start having preferences for products and things, and that's just going to be part of their fucking programming. And I mean, now that this is a thought that I'm having right now and not something I've thought through at all, so maybe it's wrong. Aren't influencers like that? Like it's a joke that, it's like, oh, use, like in the middle of an unrelated conversation, someone be like, oh, use fucking, Hello Pants for 15% off, like whatever, right? I mean, I talk about brands I like. But I mean real influencers. Like what is, at what point is the difference between someone making a joke and being like, hey, go use this thing that pays me if I tell you to use it, and the bot tells you a thing because it was programmed to do it? Like that line is way blurrier than it should be. But there was a study, I didn't read the whole thing, obviously, but like, people are more likely to believe something if it comes from a bot. Like that it's like the bot is better at arguing things probably because it's just like infinitely patient in a way that I have zero patience whatsoever, right? Like I am not a good person to argue with, because I just don't have patience for opinions that aren't mine, at least about anything that matters, right? Like I'm, whatever. I don't care if, that's true. I mean, like in a literal sense, obviously people are different than bots, right? And like the bot doesn't know anything. Like a bot telling you to use a product is fundamentally different because the bot literally cannot use the product, right? But does that matter from a bird's eye perspective? And I'm just thinking this thing through right now. Like I think that matters less than it should. in a way that I think is concerning. But yeah, like that's where this is going to go. Like that's where this is going to be so destructive to our society, no matter what. Even if fucking OpenAI runs out of money, which they totally could do, there's every reason to believe that Anthropic and OpenAI will burn all of their cash and no one else will save them because they don't care. Google has Gemini. Microsoft is going to build their own fucking LLM and they don't need to save OpenAI, right? There's a very real chance that the big companies go under because they don't need it, because they are not needed to save things, and we'll see, right? I don't know. I am not smart enough or well connected enough to make any of those things. Whatever. Ed Zitron, great, has written some great things about the economics of this. Doesn't look good, but whatever. Even if all of this stuff fails tomorrow, some version of a chatbot is going to continue to exist, almost definitely, if only because Google can do it now and Meta can do it and yada yada, and people like talking to them because a lot of people like talking to them. I don't. I had my time. I thought it was fun. I got over it. But there are a lot of people who are fucking falling in love with chatbots. There are people whose chatbots have convinced them that they're the fucking messiah, right? There's just people who just like their bots. And that will have just permanent effects, I think. I don't think we will ever be able to fully undo the damage that this is causing right now, right? So in the US, we had lockdowns for a year and a half, 2 years. There's a study that kids, really young kids who were taught from home are way less capable of reading, writing, arithmetic relative to the people who were not home, right? The effect of those lockdowns on children's education will be permanent. Some kids will be able to get over it, but those are the kids who didn't need it in the first place, right? The kids of rich families, the kids of, families in good areas with good schools, right? The people who are going to be permanently affected are the people who needed the help. And that's just a thing that happened. And it's over, right? And America is worse and is permanently worse for that result. And there are ways that could have been done that would have been better, right? I'm not saying that the correct move was to send everyone back to school per se. There were a lot of good reasons not to do that. But because all we did was tell people to work, to learn remotely with no real support for that, this is where we ended up. And now, you have that, all of the articles about how every single child is cheating on every single thing that they're doing, every single paper is written by ChatGPT. Every single math question is answered by ChatGPT, even though ChatGPT is not very good at math. By Julia, enjoy it. I liked it. I saw it yesterday. Good movie. The like that is so, even if it dies tomorrow, even if every single person who's using it to cheat today loses the ability to cheat tomorrow, learning loss is permanent. There are people who will never get that time back. They will, they will never learn the things that they could have learned. They will never learn how to have learned. That's the most important thing, right? Like, and it's not even close. Learning your ABCs doesn't matter. Learning algebra doesn't matter. But learning how to learn things, learning how to understand things that you don't understand, learning how to take in new information, how to synthesize ideas, like that is the only thing that really matters. It's the only thing that you really take from project to project, job to job. Like, you are never going to join a new job completely ready, and like, if people aren't able to synthesize their own ideas, to come to their own conclusions, to understand things without a bot telling them, we're so fucked. Like, we're so permanently fucked. Because then when the bots, again, when, not if, when the bots are paid for by advertisements, when the bots are telling you, man, I'm just putting my feet up with a cold brewski, insert beer name here, PBR, I don't know. They're not going, it's like, yeah, this is the thing that told me how to do literally everything in my life. Of course I should listen to the bot that cannot drink and what the bot is telling me to do. Right? Like, there's the fucking thing is like a dude had like a meth addiction, and it's like, and the bot was like, you really sound like you need meth right now. Sounds like you're going through some shit. And it's like, that's terrible advice. And if your friend gave you that advice, you'd obviously be like, man, shitty friend. But the bot gave the advice. The bot that everyone thinks gives good advice, which it doesn't, obviously. It can, because it just gives generally it just gives like broad, uninteresting advice. But like, the more people become dependent on these systems, the harder it will be to pull them out when everything turns. Right? And that is always the end game, right? You hook people and then you make it, like, that's in shitification, right? Like, that's Cory Doctorow's thing. You hook people on an idea and you lose money, right? Like, you go in and you make yourself so valuable that your customers can no longer live without you. And then you make it worse in order to make money. You make things more expensive. You make things work less well. You fill them with ads. Like, what you do is you suck out everything that made it useful in order to monetize it to the, largest possible degree. And yeah, right. Obviously this comes from capitalism, right? Like, it is the end result of capitalism. I'm not disagreeing with that. Ed Zitron calls it the rot economy, which is itself sort of a inevitable consequence of this version of capitalism. Maybe every version of capitalism, certainly of neoliberal capitalism. and just neoliberalism in general. Libertarianism. It's not an economic system. Whatever. So we have not hit and shitified chatbots yet. But we will within 2 years, for sure. We're going to hit and shitify chatbots long before we hit AGI, right? Like LLMs will never be AGI because LLMs don't know anything. And if you don't know anything, you can't be general intelligence, period. It's just like, that's just obviously true, right? And so, and the people who are currently so reliant on these systems, like I will cop to the fact that every once in a while I'm trying to answer a question, and I will the search service I use, it's called Kagi. If you put a question mark at the end of your search, it will hook into an LLM. And so the other day I was like, what's the name of the actor that played this character, or that like played the character who did this thing in this movie? And it gave me the correct answer. Useful. Would have been harder to find if I wasn't like just searching movie action, right? Like it would have taken more steps. That's useful. That is a genuinely useful thing for me. But anything that matters, I don't use it for. Like anything where I'm really concerned about accuracy, about learning, about understanding, I don't touch it. Because even if it would be useful, and it could be in some form, understanding how to find things is important, right? Like figuring out. So there's a quote I put into the new version of this script this morning. And it's a fairly well-known, I think, or maybe not well-known, but like it's been often quoted. It's funny because in some ways this version of the script actually gets back to a much earlier version where I talked about enshittification and the rot economy and whatever, and I cut all that stuff out. So this is from essayist A.R. Moxon. I will find out before I say his name on the internet. Historians have a word for Germans who joined the Nazi Party, not because they hated Jews, but out of a hope for restored patriotism or a sense of economic anxiety, or a hope to preserve their religious values or dislike of their opponents, or raw political opportunism or convenience or ignorance or greed. That word is Nazi. Nobody cares about their motives anymore. They joined what they joined. They lent their support and their moral approval, and in so doing, they bound themselves to everything that came after. Who cares anymore what particular knot they used in the binding? Right. Good quote. But not super easy to find where it actually came from, weirdly. And it turns out it's because it's is this hold on. Let's actually ask a chatbot. Let's see. Let's find out where and just see. Maybe I'm wrong. Where Let's see, where is the following statement from? Yep. So what I figured, right? What it tells me is, it is attributed to this person, and it links to their Goodreads and also a list of just quotations. And like, it does not list the original source. And I can eventually find it, right? Clicking through enough things. But I was watching Jenny Nicholson's new video, or new ramble, Patreon ramble, because it's the reason to back her on Patreon. It's great. And she started talking about how there is on Wikipedia for Action Park, there is the ski resort that Action Park is a part of, the New Jersey, infamous New Jersey theme park. There's a story about how, like, they got a bunch of stuff from a Swiss ski resort, and she tried to validate that and could not do so. The Wikipedia line is uncited, and every instance of the story that she could find cited Wikipedia, right? And that's a problem with Wikipedia. Wikipedia can be wrong. It is wrong. Wikipedia should be treated with the same kind of skepticism as everything else when you're looking for anything that actually matters. But it's like, you have to be able to do that second level. You have to be willing to see more, go in deeper, go in further. Because if you stop, like, you're screwed, right? And I mean, and now the bots are, they're like deep research thing, right? And by all accounts from people who are smarter than me, it has the aesthetic of accuracy, right? Like, you come up with stuff and it's like, it is correct-ish. And the ways that it's incorrect are ways that people who need to use it in the first place won't be able to understand. And that is fucking bad. Like, that's really bad and really dangerous, because it's going to lead to more people thinking they know things than do. And there are already so many people who know, or who think they know way more than they do, right? Who don't know fucking anything. I don't know a lot of things that I talk about to any real degree of depth or complexity. But those people will eventually, be like, well, I Googled it, or like, I read a headline or whatever. But when they're like, oh, I got ChatGPT to deep research for me, and now I know everything, they don't. They still don't. But they will feel so much more like they do. And that is so frustrating. Like, it's so fucking frustrating. But anyway, back to VO. The reason I started down this fucking rabbit hole. It's like 30 minutes ago. So the thing about VO and video generation services is that it makes having a YouTube channel weirder when you can very easily be placed next to that, but also you can just be replaced, right? Like what you're doing is replaceable. What VO cannot do is anything live. It takes time to generate something that looks like this. I'm sure you could generate something that looks like this. And you could give it words and it would look well enough like this. But it wouldn't be now, it would be later. And obviously there's plenty of things where it's like do live fucking live whatever the word is, right? You know what I mean. Like live deepfakes and like there's stuff that can be done in real time. But I was thinking that like maybe the future of the week I review, the future of this thing is live reviews. Because I was only ever doing so much editing, right? Like, what if instead I just literally did it live? And, and then uploaded the thing. It would require a different sort of function. Like I would need it to be more presentation-like. Like I would need a PowerPoint or whatever that I'm working with. Which is actually the format that the autism thing is going to take. And I've been planning on it taking for the whole time. Right, but it's a specific type of review, right? Like instead of doing what I did every time, it was, okay, we're doing a live stream. This is the review, right? Because that's the thing that can't be faked. And obviously, I mean, even in doing that, it's not like I can react in real time to any of the conversation because I have a thing I have to get through and I don't want to lose my train of thought. But I do think that would be interesting. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sort of that sort of thing. And so that's sort of that's what I've been kind of thinking about, because I do want to do something that is more than something a bot could do. And that's the thing a bot can't do for now, is they can't be me in real time. So we'll see. But I've been thinking about how I could do the autism thing. Did I freeze? I don't know. This thing's telling me that I don't have good internet, which is irritating because I have very good internet. Regardless, the point is that is sort of what I've been thinking might be an interesting way to to handle all of this stuff going forward. So I don't know. I might do that. I might not. I'm going to finish this project first. It is unfortunate that it will require me to redo things, so I don't know when it will be done. Hopefully this summer. That's my new goal, is get it done before September. Going on a big trip. I want this done before my big trip. That's my goal. We'll see. But yeah, I don't know. That's all I've got to say. I just wanted to talk through some things, I guess. I have to fucking get a different psychiatrist because the person I was talking to sucks. So that sucks. Not looking forward to doing it again. They shouldn't let a lot of people who become doctors. All right. Thank you, folks. Godspeed, or whatever.